The extra security comes as a national election gets underway, the first in 6 years. Government soldiers are now posted on the hilltops. This one is right above the compound of Asfandiar, the Prince of Swat. He's decided to run for a seat in the National Assembly. It's a dangerous undertaking these days, but Asfandiar is undeterred, traveling only with a lightly guarded convoy. He invites me to come along as he campaigns. We drive into the mountains along narrow, deeply rutted roads. It's a poor, remote area, but these are his constituents. Everywhere he goes, the people of Swat greet him affectionately. At this town meeting, Asfandiar is calming frazzled nerves during the army's ongoing battle with the Taliban. I asked whether he was encouraged that Fazlullah had been forced to flee.
Well, but what was the price for that? What was the price that the government paid for it? What is the price that the people of Swat paid for it? So many civilians killed, life disrupted, mass migrations, and Swat, which was a tourist resort, I think in the next 10 years nobody would even think of coming to Swat.
And Asfandiar is afraid the worst is not yet over, that Fazlullah is just biding his time.
The army is not in full control of Swat. There are parts of Swat beyond Matha which the army has not taken control of. So I don't know whether he's there, he's fled or not. I won't know.
He's not alone. Many believe that Fazlullah is just waiting to strike again. And there are doubts that the army is willing to sustain the fight against him. President Musharraf actually tried to appease Fazlullah by striking a deal with him early last year. It's a familiar pattern. Pressured by the United States to go after extremists and al-Qaeda supporters, Musharraf has instead tried to buy peace with them. But in the past year, these deals with extremists have broken down.
This dual policy that he's had with the militants, that is at times attacking them because of American pressure to do so, and at times having ceasefires with them, relieving them, giving them compensation and money, all this has led to acute demoralization in the army. It has led to these mass desertions that we've seen from the military and the paramilitary forces. It's led to these surrenders, and it's also led to acute demoralization amongst the public, where the public now thinks that the army is both unwilling and incapable of fighting the extremists.
Back in the capital, Islamabad, Musharraf rules from the sprawling presidential complex. He'd allowed the insurgency in Swat to get out of control, in part because he'd been preoccupied with preserving his own power. For most of last year, he's faced a constitutional crisis. The Supreme Court here was about to prevent him from running for president again. That's when he declared a state of emergency. His first move wasn't sending troops against Fazlullah and Swat. It was firing his Supreme Court and arresting thousands of lawyers who supported the judges. At this demonstration in Islamabad, the men in black suits are lawyers. They're protesting outside Pakistan's election commission, demanding an end to Musharraf's 9 years of military rule. The police attack them almost immediately. In the fall, it had become almost routine to see protesting lawyers beaten by the police. This is one of the main targets of the crackdown, the most famous lawyer in Pakistan, Etizaz Ahsan. A policeman has just hit him in the stomach with a brick. His aides are hustling him away from the danger. I'd spoken with Ahsan earlier, when the lawyers' movement was just beginning.
General Musharraf is probably the most unpopular man the country has seen in a very, very long time. And he's unanimously, all political parties, all political cadres, all shades, all classes, all professions are there. This movement is led by the lawyers, who are a liberal, educated, enlightened body by and large. They share Western values like due process, independence of the judiciary, rule of law, sovereignty of parliament, fair and free elections. They share these, but the West isn't noticing them. The West can't see beyond Pervez Musharraf, unfortunately.
In November, Hassan was picked up by the police and placed under house arrest. To see him, you have to walk past a series of policemen stationed at his house day and night. We're not supposed to film, but we did anyway. Inside, we met the lawyer's spokesman. Explain this. We're in Mr. Etizaz Hassan's house.
This is the office of Mr. Etizaz Hassan, and the other area is his residence, and that is a sub-jail. I cannot show you the sub-jail. It is a sub-jail. Yes.
He led us down the hall to where Etizaz Hassan is under lock and key. His voice has been silenced. He's not even allowed to talk with his family.
This is sub-jail.
The guard wouldn't let us in.
This is a sub-jail.
But we did speak to Hassan's son, Ali, who told us the dramatic story of how his father was arrested in the middle of the night.
These men just walked in and grabbed him, grabbed his phone, tell him, give us that and come, you're coming with us. I protested that you can't manhandle him like that. The moment I even tried to say some things like that, one of them just picked up his gun. It was a pump-action shotgun, pumped it and put it to my chest and said, I will shoot you.
The lawyers continued to hold demonstrations, this one led by Hassan's wife, Bushra, and her son, Ali. Many believe that Musharraf didn't need the state of emergency to take on the extremists. They say he declared it in order to silence the democratic opposition.
The entire crackdown was against the middle class of the country, the lawyers, the politicians, the professionals, the NGOs, who were protesting and demanding constitutional rule. So this was a move done, I think, very blatantly in order to keep himself in power.
A bomb had exploded moments after a campaign rally. The victims were rushed to a small rural clinic. It was the Prince of Swat, Asfandar, the man who'd stood up to Fazlullah. As he was out campaigning, his car was blown up by a remote-controlled bomb. When word spread of Asfandiar's death, thousands of people gathered at his home. Their shock and pain magnified by the assassination of Benazir Bhutto the day before. Her death had stunned the world, but here in Swat, Asfandiar's death was more deeply felt. This is Asfandiar's brother.
Obviously, we are still in a state of shock because if it had been a normal death of illness or an accident, it would have been acceptable. But this was something extremely gruesome. And it will obviously take me and family, his wife and his children, my mother, some time to absorb this shock, to absorb what has happened.
No one has claimed responsibility for the assassination, but most people blame Maulana Fazlullah. Asfandiar's brother vows that his family will not be deterred by terrorism.
I will not let my brother's hard work, and let alone the hard work he died in it. I will not let legacy die. I will not let his hard work go to waste.
Since Asfandiar's death, 3 more Swat politicians have been targeted in bomb attacks, and Fazlullah has been blamed for them all.
All right, that wraps up the lecture on Afghanistan and Pakistan. I wish we could spend more time, especially on Pakistan, but the situation in Iran and the fact that this is not that long of a class conspired against us. When we come back next time, we'll turn our attention back to the West, to Iraq.